On January 15, 1929, in Atlanta, Georgia, a child was born into a segregated America, a nation legally divided by race, fear, and silence. Martin Luther King Jr. did not enter a world ready to hear him. He entered one built to ignore people who looked like him. At the time of his birth, Black Americans in the southern United States were denied basic rights, voting, education, equal protection under the law. Segregation was enforced not only by policy, but by violence and intimidation. King grew up watching how injustice operated quietly through laws, customs, and everyday humiliation. These early experiences shaped a belief that would define his life, that injustice could not be defeated by hatred, but by moral pressure. As a young man, King studied theology and philosophy. He was deeply influenced by Christian ethics and the nonviolent resistance teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. From these ideas, he formed a radical approach, not passive, not violent, but disciplined resistance. In 1955, when Rosa Parks was arrested for refusing to give up her seat on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, King emerged as a leader. The Montgomery bus boycott that followed lasted over a year. It was not dramatic. It was patient, exhausting, and relentless, and it worked. That victory revealed something powerful. Systems of oppression depend on participation. When people withdraw that cooperation peacefully, power begins to shift. Over the next decade, King became the most visible voice of the American civil rights movement. He led marches, endured arrests, faced threats, and survived assassination attempts, all while insisting on nonviolence. In 1963, standing before the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.X.C. King delivered the "I Have a Dream" speech. It was not a demand for revenge, but a demand for dignity, framed in language that appealed to conscience rather than anger. That speech did not end racism, but it changed the moral language of the world. King's leadership helped push the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, laws that dismantled legal segregation in the United States. Yet King understood that equality on paper did not mean equality in reality. In his final years, he spoke increasingly about poverty, economic injustice, and war positions that made him unpopular even among former allies. On April 4, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. His death sparked grief, riots, and reflection across the globe. But his influence did not die with him. Today, King's ideas shape protest movements, democratic struggles, and human rights campaigns far beyond America, from South Africa to India, from Eastern Europe to modern civil rights debates worldwide. His life proved that power does not always speak loudly, sometimes it persuades, pressures, and outlasts violence. Why do we learn history every day? Because understanding how courage is built helps the present generation recognize their responsibility and gives future generations examples of leadership when justice feels impossible. History is not old. History is living inside us. One day, one event, one lesson. Mr. Fidi,